Okay, so I guess you're not technically tuning in today. You're tuning in person with a live Chasing Birdies podcast. And for those of you that don't know who Chasing Birdies is, it's myself and Jonathan Pepe. And every other week or so, we interview guests that have chased birdies in life, but naturally have the golf addiction, and that's the common denominator with all of our guests. And we're so stoked to be here supporting this cause for WVU Medicine Children's and being a part of this great event. And with that being said, our guest today fits the strike zone quite well. And he's an old friend of ours from back in the day. From Nashville, Tennessee, originally Florida, though. Go Noles. Tyler Reeve's here in the house at Nemacolin to join us. And singer-songwriter from Nashville, has written some #1 hits across the genre. And he can sing, and he can sure as hell play some golf. So we are happy to have you here on the show today, my man. And thanks for coming
Thank you, buddy.
up.
Glad to be back. I wasn't too far down the road, and I know when you called me a while back, I was like, that'll work out. So anytime I get a chance to come hang out with y'all and anything involving golf and music and a few libations, I'm always in. So
Yeah. I mean, it just goes hand in hand, basically. Where were you? Were you in Hershey or Harrisburg?
yeah, we were in Hershey. Well, Harrisburg. Okay. I don't know. I literally flew there, and then they were like, "What time's the show tonight?" I was like, "I don't know." Where are you playing? I don't know. So we just went and did that, and of course fit some golf into the situation yesterday, and then just moseyed over here today.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Which, I mean, based on our conversation, golf's hot right now, coming off a career low,
That's right.
66.
Mm-hmm.
Mario Lemieux, you know who that is?
Yes,
Okay,
of
I
course.
just wasn't
I've actually
sure.
golfed with Mario Lemieux
Yeah, he's the man.
at Whisper Rock, Arizona.
No way.
Yeah.
Great
That's
spot.
kind of was that planned or was that random?
No, it was like, I want to say it was like 2012 or something. My buddy Jake Peavy, who pitched for the White Sox, they had spring training there, and so we went and played Whisper Rock. I was actually playing well that day, and we got to like the 15th hole, and they came out and they're like, "Hey guys, we're gonna have to take it in," and I'm like, "Am I being that obnoxious? I know I've had a few drinks," but they were like, "No, there's
Not you.
a mountain lion. There's been a mountain lion spotted." And I said, "I didn't see the mountain lion." And he's like, "That's why you have to come into the clubhouse now." So anyway,
At Whisper
So-
Rock, you know, did you hear about the member at Whisper Rock? They call it the Brick, and it's in his car at all times. And he has $250,000 cash in there at all times to settle bets at Whisper Rock. So
yeah, I'm glad I didn't run into that guy.
that guy?
I probably would have finished if we had that much on the line. I would have taken my chances with a mountain lion.
Yeah, but here's the thing: if he's willing to play for that type of dough, I mean, he might not even be a good golfer. I mean,
Well,
the reality is
when you're playing for that kind of money, it's a different ballgame. It doesn't matter. You're playing with your own money, and that's why PGA Tour players don't play in these huge money games, because it's different when you're playing for the money. When you're playing with your own money, it's a little different.
Yeah.
yeah, just look at your football day yesterday. I mean, you were a little nervous. Ofer.
Well, 0 for 17 yesterday. Florida State covered in a parlay. That was great, but everything else I lost. So
That was tough.
naturally.
So I don't know if you guys out there are I know there's probably a lot of golfers out there, golf fans. I know most of the people in the room have some type of love for golf, but country music and golf really goes hand in hand. And really any type of music, if you see the movement in golf in today's world, there's that progressive movement where golf has become a little more laxed, where, yeah, you still pay homage to the traditions that exist at certain places, you know, with your tucked-in shirt, collared shirts, whatnot. But now with certain properties like Discovery Properties and whatnot, Old Hickory, for example, where you're at in Nashville, you know, it's like just letting loose, having some fun, man. You just throw the hat on, you keep the shirt untucked, and you throw the tunes up. And that's really kind of how I feel golf is moving, and it's in a great spot. But, you know, with all the boys that you're friends with, golf is just kind of in your blood. I mean, it's all you guys are doing. It's the games. I mean, you go to Old Hickory, for example. We go to Old Hickory, see Tyler and some of the boys, and it's John Daly, it's Tyler Reeve, it's Lil Skinny. It's all the boys getting after it after golf, sitting on the back patio, strumming the guitars.
Porch talking.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm just
porch
sitting there
talk.
going, well, this is what I always wanted to do, but I just could never do it.
Yeah. Porch talk sounds like a really chill thing to do. But I'm just gonna, if any of y'all ever come to Nashville, you're welcome to come out to the Hick, as we call it, Old Hickory Country Club. But John Daly's there a lot, and he'll always be like, "Hey, let's not get out tonight and get too crazy. Let's just sit around and have porch talk." And don't fall for that trap, because porch talk goes till like 4 a.m. And it gets
Dude.
it's a lot of talking.
There's a lot of talking and stories, and a lot of people. Well, obviously no one here knows, but John Daly is your son's godfather.
That's right.
But we fell into the trap. We finished at like 4:00, start boozing, and it's like 8:30. I've gone to the restroom 5 times. JD hasn't gotten up once.
No.
There's a cooler, 3 packs of cigarettes, and a garbage can next to him, and it's just like a conveyor belt,
Yeah.
just going around.
Yep.
And it's back to what he was saying with golf. You know, like today, for example, I played golf with a guy from India, and I had country music playing, and he's like, "This is a good song," and he has no clue who any of these people are.
Yeah.
But we listened to country music the whole way around.
Yeah.
And he asked me to send a playlist, and I don't have a playlist. It was just like radio. So, but it music playing, smoking a cigar, drinking. That's kind of like the vibe now. And I think that's why country musicians, athletes, they are getting more involved in golf. I mean, you look at every sport. LeBron James is now playing golf.
Right.
You know, all Major League Baseball that's
Yeah, those
covered.
guys are
Hockey
always good.
guys, they're all playing
The
golf.
pitchers.
Yeah.
Guys that only have to be in a game once every 5 days.
Yep.
Play golf every other day. I played golf with a lot of major league pitchers, and they're always really good at golf. Every one of them. Beat me usually.
Yeah. So I mean, tell us about your round, dude. You were just telling me about your 66. I mean, that's pretty impressive.
Well, the truth is, like, as much as I care about my 66, y'all really don't care because it's not your round of golf. So I do understand that. You know, you're like, yo,
No, but we do.
you're like, sorry, on the 3rd hole, and everyone's like, no one cares, dude. Good job on the 66. But I had like a hot little run there. I was in Atlantic City. John Daly was with us. We did a plan through show up there at the Hard Rock Arena and went out to Galloway National. And I played, I mean, like mediocre in the front, but I had a couple random, like, you know, pickup doubles where we're out there after being at the casino all night. And then just there was a little bit of shit talking going on. George Burge, my boy, who's a great golfer, also country singer. And we just kind of started chirping back and forth, and he makes 2 birdies a row, lips one out for his 3rd one. He's like, oh, you're in trouble now. And I ended up birdieing like 5 of the last 6. I made 4 20-footers in a row for birdies to finish that round out, and obviously beat that ass. And then when we got back to Nashville, the next round was on, so I didn't play again. That was on a Saturday, and so I didn't play again until Friday. We have a big money game at the club, and so it's like 24 guys. You know, we have although I won 0 skins, it's net skins, and I won none.
That's how it happens.
So my handicap is at the time is 3.0. I go out there, I shoot 66. I start a birdie, go through the whole round, had 1 bogey all day, 6 birdies, and no skins. But I obviously won the points game going away. But then the same thing, it's like right when I get to the table, there's, you know, 20 guys sitting at the table waiting to square up, you know, and everyone's like, oh, Tyler shot 66. And before I even sit down, they're like, put it in your handicap. You know, I was like, it's already
Put it
in.
in the gin.
I'm like, I didn't even get out of the cart before I put that
It's
in because I knew, you know, whatever. And then, of course, the next morning at 8 a.m., you know, I'm cooking breakfast or something. It's like, you are now a 1.0. And I'm like, this is bullshit. It's like, but I guess because of the potential, I get it. But so I feel like it always goes down, never goes up when you want it.
So 66. Okay, that's incredible. You play a great round of golf. What feels better to you, a 66 or right in number 1? I'm probably going to say right in number 1 because you're getting a little mailbox money. As
Yeah,
they
it was
call
more than those 23 boys have out out there.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. It's kind of your immediate gratification versus long term because
yeah.
when you're writing a song that you know you might think is a number 1 hit that never gets recorded, never gets heard, you're not sure. A lot of things have to line up. You have to have the right artist to record the song. It has to be perfect timing and a lot of people believing in it and people consuming the music and listening to it and feeling that same connection to that song. So as many times you think you write them, you're usually wrong.
Right.
You know, we do not have number one hits all the time. So later on, when that becomes a number one hit, that's a really good feeling. And then, of course, I was lucky enough to have a couple of them be Song of the Year, which is kind of like the number one of the number ones for that year, right? So that's a great
It's like
feeling.
the perfect game, right?
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, it's a great feeling, but it also kind of it's just celebrated in such a further down the road. You know, you're talking a year later, the song goes number one after you wrote it, and then another 9 months later before you're actually like starting getting paid on it because they have to, kind of catch up to it. So, so it's fun. I mean, it's like you celebrate it a lot when you write it. You're like, all right, we think so, and then it starts running up the charts. You're like, cool, top 20, cool, top 10, cool, top 5, number one, let's party.
Do you have a couple drinks?
No, I quit drinking
So-
for just kidding. No, I drank the whole time.
So for those of the people that listen to country music, tell them what goes behind a song. I don't think a lot of people, I think people think that the artist writes the song and they sing the song and that's it. But they don't realize what goes into, 3 of us sitting in a room, we write the song, kind of gets out there, somebody puts it on hold. Go
Yep.
through that process for people to realize what goes into a song because it could have been written 3 years ago
Yeah,
and it's
or
new to
more, yeah.
us.
Yeah, right. That's right. And I think the hard part is artists and songwriters get tired of the song before it even gets to number one because we've just heard it so much or
Played it and listened to it.
recorded it, or we were in the studio listening to it 50,000 times while they're trying to make everything right. But basically, I guess the life of a hit song would be, say me, Bash, and Pep sit down in a room, and it's not. Although it seems like we'd always be we'd just go out drinking and start writing at midnight or something. The way that seems like it would be, you really kind of get your ideas from being around people, things you might say, just in conversation, and it might, kind of pique something in my brain saying like that could be a good song. And so usually we go in at like 10 o'clock in the morning and you have a whole, it's like a job, man. I'm like, what? I got to be here for this every day. but you have like writing appointments that are booked, my calendar is probably 4 months out that I have writes, at least 3 or 4 times a week. And you go sit down in a room and we'll talk, I might, hey, I got this idea, and you guys might bite on it or not. And you're like, oh, that's cool, but I got this idea. And you kind of mess around and figure out what feels right. Like, hey, let's write that song, or, this is the angle. You might have a different angle on it than I do. And you write the song in a few hours usually. And then when you're done with that, of course, if you're writing with the artist and they say, I love it, I'm going to record it. Now you're just waiting until they're recording, and you might write it with them when they just put a record out. You have to wait 1.5 years for their next record to be recorded. That happened to me with Does to Me for Luke Combs and Eric Church. We wrote that song 4 years before Luke recorded it on the second album. So that was, I was like, I hope it's a big song, but it didn't make the first record. So I was like, I guess not. And then 4 years later, he called me. He's like, hey, we're putting it on. Eric Church is going to sing on it. And so,
Dude, decent
But
names.
when you wrote that song for Luke, Eric was he originally supposed to be on it?
no, so I wrote the song with Luke Combs and with Ray Fulcher. And when we got done, Luke had not put his first record out, so he didn't become the big superstar he is now. And I told him, he's from North Carolina, big Eric Church fan. And I'm like, Luke, I feel like this is an Eric Church song. Could you imagine if you did Luke Combs or Eric Church featuring Luke Combs, what it would do for your career? He's like, man, that'd be awesome. How do we get it to him? I was like, I'll just text him the song. So I text the song to Eric, and he didn't reply to a text from me for 3 more years. I was like, he either hates this song or something else happened. And then years later, of course, like Luke blew up. His first record became one of the biggest records in country music. And when he went to do the second record, he called and was like, hey, Eric Church is going to sing on this song. So I reversed Uno card me on that one, but I was happy with it. And it's kind of, so I guess like back to your point of writing that song, you don't know how long it'll take, and you kind of bare your soul in this stuff. Well, you can write funny songs or sad songs or whatever, and but it takes a while. And so as you see those go through the whole process, you're proud of them. You want it to connect with people. You want people to come up and tell you, that song changed my life in this way or that way. And I think it's one thing music does more than anything else.
So in your catalog, how many songs would you say you've written in your catalog?
Like 3,500.
So you have 35. So let's just say you have 3,450 songs
Yeah.
that were not cut or held.
Right.
Or
Yeah.
anything.
So I have 100 and I think 190 recorded. So yeah, and then only a few that have been hits or whatever else. So I mean, when you do that math, it's like just don't makes you, if your kid wants to be a songwriter, be like, don't do that.
So yeah, I mean, the one song that you sing, I've been around you enough. We've had enough to drink, and you start singing. I listen, but the one song that you sing, and I don't even know the name of it, but where the plane was going down.
Yeah.
Tell a little bit about where that song came from, what you were thinking, because it cuts deep, right? Like.
Yeah, well, it's actually kind of a golf centric song, because the way I ended up on, a buddy of mine and two other guys were supposed to go back with me to Nashville on my buddy's plane from Tampa, and that morning, I'm like riding over to get on the plane, and my buddy texts me and he goes, "Hey man, just take the plane back to Nashville. We're gonna go play a money game at Old Mo." So it's just me on the plane. And so then I get a text message from my buddies at the Hick, and they're like, "Hey, dude, are you going to make it this morning? We have a 10:40 tee time." And I sent back this picture that I really regretted in the middle when I thought I was going to die, of like my flip-flops on this private jet. And I was like, I'll probably be there at 10:50. Like, it's just such a stupid thing to say. And we took
Tyler
off.
Reeve response.
Yeah. and we took off. So there's two pilots and then just me, and we take off. We get to like 25,000 feet, and we just like started going straight to the scene of the crash. And I was like, oh man, like I had no friends with me. That's when you start thinking, you're like, it's only worth it when you're surrounded by the people that you love and everything else. And that was a lonely about minute and a half of us doing that thing. And then I started typing down a little piece of advice to my son, that I hoped that they would find if they found my phone at the scene of the crash. Like, I was like, I'm dead. And then at like 6,000 feet, they pull the plane up. It's like this crazy. It goes from like loud to silence. And the pilot like looks back and he goes, "Mr. Reeve, we're sorry about that." And I was like, I'm sorry about the cleaning crew that has to come in this plane after this, because I think I might have had a problem here. But anyway, we landed, and I don't know. I didn't even. Everyone's like, "Did you ask him what happened?" I was like, "No, dude. I just like kissed the ground and like ran to my truck and drove home." But I had typed these little piece of advice down on my phone, and so when I went in the next day to go write a song on Monday morning with a couple of friends of mine, I said, I've got all these little pieces of advice that I want to write a song for my son called "That's All I Know," and so we wrote that song, and it's one of my favorites to play, but also not been recorded yet by any big artist. So, a song like that I feel like hits home. People remember it. Yeah. People always want to know who's recording it when it's coming out. And, a lot of good artists have heard it and they're like, "I love this song." You're like, "But do you though? Like, can it go on your record?" Yeah. Yeah. So.
Well, and you and Ryan, we recorded a podcast originally when we first started this about 3 years ago, and then you and Ryan ended up hanging it out with Hold Hick. Yep. So tell the story, because my man was throwing BMIs at you. He was throwing all kinds of stuff at you.
Oh, yeah.
You were catching trophies, medals, and things like that. So
I've changed so much.
Yeah. Well, it was just
my kid.
It was just a long day. I mean, that's all it was. I mean, we were at the golf course all day. And you get done golfing, and next thing you know, they're betting at was it darts or was it pool? I can't even remember.
He doesn't remember this.
I don't remember.
But there were tequila shots involved in this whole thing, and one thing's leading to next, and I'm finally like, "Tyler, dude, give me your truck keys, man. Like, I'm not letting you drive. You're not."
I wasn't trying to drive.
Well, and
you're not driving
I think
home.
you were like,
after 2 beers, Ryan shuts it down. So
because I'm responsible.
He doesn't want to have
a
too
lot
much
of people
fun.
aren't responsible. I'm responsible. I'm good about carrying my own. When I have a few pops, I'm good, man. I'll take anybody home. But anyway, so I took you home. I drove your truck and walk in your house, and you were so happy. And I'm like, here we go.
I'm home. How did I get here?
And
I'm so happy.
Your wife was not happy. Yeah. No, your wife was not happy.
I was like, babe, this is Ryan. I've wanted you to meet him forever.
And she yells down from the bedroom, "Shut the hell up." That's true.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude. So you start throwing me you throw the necklace at me for the number one hit, whatever it was. I'm holding this thing up. You're tossing it to me like it's a golf club, and I'm
It's
like,
a 40-pound crystal trophy.
yeah,
I was like,
right.
catch this, Ryan.
Yeah, yeah. That's what happened. But and a lot of that probably was because when you wrote that song, in case you didn't know, that song just blew up. I mean, that song was used as wedding songs. And I had to imagine that not only did that make you proud to know that that was your work, just like anyone, whatever they do, to see something like that come to life. But, I mean, did you expect a song like that to just take off the way it did? I mean, because that song has over 1 billion streams on Spotify.
Yeah. Well, now it's like, I mean, it's close to 4 billion on the stream, and it's like
4 billion
but
streams.
also the
You stand corrected.
Sorry. I'm 3
somewhere
billion
around
off.
there. No, but I mean, it was surprising. You never expect any song to do that. There's not many. It was like one of 9 songs in the history of country music to go diamond, which is like 10 times platinum. But there's a lot that has to happen for that. That doesn't mean you could write that same song today, and it may be a number one hit, and it might not just do what that song did, or it could. I don't really know, but I know that it really hit home with me because I think it was actually kind of a cross genre song. Like it wasn't just country music fans listening to that song. It was just a lot of people. It's basically about a guy just telling this girl he loves her without being able to say I love you or say it the right way, and just saying, hey, in case you didn't know, I'm crazy about you. And it sounds like such a simple idea, but I guess obviously a lot of it hit home with a lot of guys and a lot of women. So that's where that helps. You have one song that's kind of both genders, many genres, and everything else. Everybody
Was this
connects
the
to.
one that you went to Mexico and wrote?
Yeah, well, I ended up in Mexico. I didn't try to go to Mexico.
You gotta tell.
How did that happen?
Yeah, how do you
You gotta
end up
try
in
to go to
Mexico and you
Mexico.
write this diamond hit?
No, it was so. I was down at the Key West Songwriters
And this is the
Festival.
life of Tyler Reeve. You don't know where he's going to be, so this is
I don't
kind
either.
of like on
I really
par.
don't know. I never know. But I was in Key West. They have a Songwriters Festival, playing some shows, and basically I was trying to be responsible and fly out of there on Sunday while the festival was still going on, because I'd been on the Monday flight before, and everybody's just like hung over and got all their baggage and their regrets from the whole time they were there, because it's just everyone's tuned up for 5 days on an island. And I had so much fun Saturday night that I missed my flight Sunday morning, and so I kind of had to stay there, and there's no flights till Wednesday. And so I got retuned up Sunday morning, and about 1 o'clock I was walking down Duval Street, and some girl that was playing a show, she's like, hey, y'all, that's my buddy Tyler Reeve, come play some songs. And I guess I went in there and played songs, and there was this guy in there listening to me play. And he came up, he's like, man, I love your songs. I don't have a record deal yet, but I'm about to. And I was wondering if you go with me to Mexico.
How many times did you get told that, though? I
That-
mean, like, how many people come up to you like,
Yeah.
I'm not signed yet, but I got.
Yeah, a lot. But I mean, you have to take chances on that. I will say, I mean, that's been my successes. I wrote songs with Luke Combs before his record deal, and with Brett before his record deal, and Riley Green before his record deal. So those all, taking a chance on somebody like that. But this was not the time for me to take a chance, because I was just, I was like tuned up. The guy's like 6'4" and has these like mesmerizing eyes, and he's like, I was wondering if you'd go with me to Mexico to write for my impending record.
And you're
And I
like,
was
oh,
like,
man.
0% chance. And he's like, why not? And I was like, I feel like if I leave one tropical location and go to a different tropical location with a guy as good looking as you, I'll have to explain some weird shit when I get back to Nashville. And he's like, all right then. I was like, good luck on your record deal. Then he bought me 2 shots of whiskey, and I end up down in Mexico. and on the third day, late night, I mean, 1:30 in the morning, we wrote that song, which is not normal. Like I said, we kind of I guess on a
And
trip
this is
like
Brett
that. Yeah.
Young you're talking
Yeah,
about?
so Brett Young. Yeah, so it was Brett Young, and my buddy Trent Tomlinson went down there, and we had written songs throughout the first couple of days. Wrote some great songs, and then it was probably like 1 a.m. We'd had a little tequila, and Brett was so Brett's very afraid of bugs. This sounds so weird, but this is how the song came to life. He's afraid of bugs, and he's like, all right, boys, I think I'm done. I'm not feeling great. I'm gonna go to bed. And he walks out of like the main little house place, and he closes the sliding glass door, and it bounces back open. And so he stops and he turns around and he comes back up and he goes, "Hey," he's like, "make sure these things stay closed. We don't want any bugs in the house." And like before he closes that, Trent Tomlinson said, "All right, in case you didn't know, I love you." And he closed the door and then he opens it back up and he looks at me and I'm like, "That'd be a cool song, like in case you didn't know." And he walked back in the room. We wrote it in like 30 minutes, recorded it that night in this awesome place in Mexico, like just on a little MIDI piano and microphones like this, and sent it to the head of his label. And that guy, it was like 4 a.m. in Atlanta because it was 1:30 a.m. or so 4:30 a.m. I guess. We were in Punta Mita, Mexico, and his head of his label, he didn't have his first record out, and he's like, "You just wrote your career song, dude. This is like the song." And he wasn't wrong. That was a guy named Jimmy Harnan, and so that's how we wrote it.
So
That's gnarly.
So 2 shots and Key West led you to Mexico.
Yeah,
That's right.
Do you know how many offspring were created after that while listening to that
Yeah.
song? There had to be a
Man.
lot. I'm just guessing.
Yeah, I think honestly the coolest thing for me, I lived in Atlanta for a while before I moved to Nashville, and I used to play every Thursday night at this little dive like shithole bar called the Dixie Tavern, and it'd be every Thursday night, and I had these fans, Lloyd and Tina. They were wild, and they started like
Harry
going
and
to all the
Lloyd.
shows I'd go to, and they're cooking, cooking steaks out, before my
On the
before my
Ford, on the hood of a Ford.
Yeah, exactly. And many years later, after that song came out, I went and did one more show back in Atlanta, and they showed up, and it was their 35th wedding anniversary, and Lloyd came up to me. He said, "Hey, man, just so you know," I hadn't seen him in like 6 years. He's like, "Just so you know," he's like, "I was driving home one day with divorce papers in the front of my truck from Tina," and he's like, "And I heard the song on the radio, and I pulled over and I called her," and he's like, "And that was like 8 months ago," and he's like, "We're celebrating 35 years tonight," and he goes, "I didn't even know you wrote it, and I've been like your biggest fan forever, but I haven't, like, you didn't put it out as an artist, so I didn't know." And so those are things to me where I'm like, it's cool to see that music can literally change the direction of people's lives, be it a fun song or whatever you
Yeah.
do. Like when you're going out and listening to a partying song to go out with the boys, and you're like, "Let's crank this up," or you're sad and you want to hear a sad song. I mean, that's the power of music to me, and those are the things I hold on to more than the fact that I got hammered and went to Mexico.
Well, you talk about cross genre, and that's one thing that I noticed. And you being in the industry, you probably noticed it happening. But for us outsiders, kind of seeing these collaborations now, I mean, you got Morgan Wallen coming out with Lil Wayne and Rick Ross on a song "Miami."
Yep.
You got Jelly Roll doing some stuff now with this cross collaboration that's going
Malone.
on. Yeah, obviously Post Malone, man. And so like, I think that's great for the country genre because it doesn't like
It is. Well, I think that the thing that's crazy is we're the base. So like nobody is, because you have also Aaron Lewis and some of the other guys that are coming from rock bands or pop, or Justin Bieber doing the stuff with Dan and Shay. So it's like it's always country featuring someone from a different genre.
Yeah.
And to me, I mean, it's like that's the biggest compliment, because I think it's just like it gives you, you're like, this is the litmus right here, and then we add in this cool part, and for me, I love it because I think the more people that can be involved in the music that we're doing, and I know all the same cliches too. It's not like a lot of times when people are like, what are you saying? And I'm like, country music, and they're like, cool. And I'm like, yeah, I'm sure you don't listen to country, but give it a chance, because there's a story in it. I mean, we're storytellers, so less melodically driven and more like, here's the story, here's what you can connect
But that's
with.
the thing too, is like we were just with George Burge. He was in Pittsburgh like a month ago, and that's what he and I were talking about, is like where country music is right now as a genre, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's huge. In Pittsburgh we have 3 or 4 country music stations in Pittsburgh.
Yep.
And it's like what he was saying. You got your Jelly Rolls getting involved. You got your Post Malones. You got Rick Ross and Wallen. I think country music is in a incredible spot that it's like almost it's the cool music now.
Yeah. I think I've thought that. I'm like, I don't know if these people are like, I can't do my stuff anymore, so I'll just go do country because it's easy, or if they're like, that's the way for me to get the access to the fans. But I'm all about it. I think high tides raise all boats. I want whoever to put any kind of music. Like, there's a lot of, some people are like, that's not old school country enough, or some people are like, this is too this way. I'm like, it's music, man. You have right now. You have the ability to access any music you want in your pocket, at any time. So, if you don't like what you're hearing, just listen to something else. And if you do, listen to more of it.
And I know we can't talk too much about it because but you've been doing some stuff with Post Malone, and so what's somebody like Post Malone, when you come into a room when Post Malone's sitting there, Tyler Reeve and Post Malone, you got two different worlds here.
Yeah, and I had actually, so one of the nights hanging out, so I've done nothing like recording wise with Post, but we're back in this kind of little area of this bar that they kind of keep blocked off, and I end up back there. It's Post Malone and DeAndre Hopkins, who is our wide receiver, who's like a buddy of mine, but he's like, hey man, he's like, where's your music at? And I'm like, what do you mean, where's my music at? And he's like, who's your publisher? And I was like, Spirit Music. He's like, me too. And I was like, what are we publishing touchdowns? I was like, what do you mean he's like, no, I'm doing music too now. And I was like, okay. So I had no clue. So him and Post are hanging out.
DeAndre Hopkins is doing music?
Yeah. He's signed to the same publishing deal that I have. Not same deal, but I mean the same place. Cool. And then Post was great. Like, that's kind of where, he's from Buffalo. And obviously when you look at Post Malone, you're not thinking this dude listens to a bunch of Hank Sr., you know what I mean? But he does. Like, well, we sat out there and pulled the guitars out and sat there until 4 o'clock in the morning, ripping heaters and drinking. And he was like, hey man, he's like, can you play? And the songs he was requesting were like country songs from the 1930s and 40s. And he knows every word. And it's just authentic, right? So, you can't be inauthentic in that way. And I think some people that try to do country that actually don't have any authenticity is harder for them to do. But Post Malone doing this whole country record, he's authentically a fan of country music and has listened to it forever, and then still succeeded in his own in his own genre. So that's why he's so embraced.
Do you think that like specifically with Morgan Wallen, kind of the path he's gone on? Do you think he's changed the game at all relative to songwriting, how country is framed and portrayed? Because you got little kids turning on the radio and they're singing his songs.
Yeah, my 5-year-old daughter is singing his song.
Yeah, I think Morgan is a once in a generation artist, and obviously his heart is in country music, and he's got a lot of the trap beats and the stuff that kind of moves it to where it's more appealing to other people. But then the songwriting is still really good, and the content's good, and he's a great singer and great performer. So you can't deny that he's the biggest artist of all genres. Currently, of the last 6 years. So that's including every genre of everything. And some little, country dude from Tennessee is crushing that game. And he works his ass off. So I don't think there's any side of that I don't think is awesome.
Well, and you were down at Grove 23, Michael Jordan's golf course, and you ran into Dustin Johnson.
Yep.
Won U.S. Open in Oakmont. But his wife, Paulina,
is Wayne's daughter.
Is Wayne Gretzky's daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And I see that you guys are running around not running around like that, but running around, writing songs, and I see that she might be coming out with some country.
Yeah, so we've written some songs, we've recorded some songs for her. It's something she's always had a passion for that she never really chase that side of it, and Dustin has been great and supportive of her going and doing that. So she comes to Nashville like once a month for 4 or 5 days, and we get some studio time and hop in the rooms and write some songs, and she tells us what she wants to write about, and we help her I guess put that to music and words, and it's been good. She's a sweetheart. That day was funny. You say so. Meeting Dustin, we were playing, and the golf carts at Grove 23
go 30 miles an hour,
like 45 miles an hour.
Yeah.
I mean, they haul ass because Michael Jordan likes to play fast. Yeah. So I actually met them because I hopped on the back of the cart when my buddy went to run in the bathroom. I hopped on my other buddy's cart and I was on the back, and he thought we were at the right tee box, And then I saw him about to step off, and he goes, "Oh, it was William Floyd, like who Super Bowl champion with the 49ers, fullback, also went to the Florida State University." But he like floors it again, and this thing like speeds up, and I fly off the back of the golf cart, and I take a tumble, like a big tumble, and I kind of land on my feet. And right then, this golf cart pulls up, and it's Dustin Johnson and John Elway. And John Elway goes, "That guy can take a tumble." And I was like, "What's up, man?" And Dustin goes, "We're going to play through." And I was like, "That makes sense. We don't even know where we are. We're on the wrong tee box." And so then when we got back in the locker room, or in the clubhouse, I guess there was only 15 or 20 people, but we were all sitting there, and they were like, "Hey, grab a guitar, play a few songs." And we were watching college football, and I had an Augusta belt on, like the AMGC, the members belt. Yeah. And I go to sit down on the couch, and Dustin goes, "Hey, dude." I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "You know I won there, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, dude, I know you are." He's like, "All right, cool." And so anyway, this year I went down for the Masters this year, and he and Paulina were gracious and got us a house right next to them and gave me their tickets for every day and stuff. So we had a good time.
Well, you have a pretty cool story. You're really close with Fuzzy Zeller, who has won a green jacket. And what was it, 2 years ago? His daughter had
Gretchen,
rolled the red carpet out for you. And tell us the story about showing up at the house and him.
So Fuzzy is as funny as you think he is. When you're around him, he just kind of says the right thing. And I was playing a show that kicked off. It was like a big show at the amphitheater there to kick off the Masters. And I went down to the table that I had, and the table that I had was pretty cool because it was all the like players. So it was like John Daly and Jim Furyk and Fuzzy's daughter Gretchen, and they're all standing around. And Gretchen's like, "You're going tomorrow, right?" And there was the practice round on Wednesday, and I was like, "I've done it." I was like, "I'm gonna let some of the folks with me go," and so I'm not really worried about it. She's like, "Oh, you got to go," and I was like, "Yeah, I'll think about it." And then I'm talking to Furyk, and he's like, "Hey, just meet me by that tree. I'll leave you a ticket. No big deal." I was like, "Okay, cool." So then I tell Gretchen I'm going to go with Furyk and his wife Tabitha, and she's like, No. She's like, "Be at this address at 9:00 tomorrow," and she's like, "And bring someone with you if you want." And Amelia Varney, who's one of my business partners, I was like, "Amelia, you want to go? I guess we're going to go into the Masters with Fuzzy."
I guess we're gonna go with Fuzzy.
Yeah, and so. But I didn't know that Fuzzy would be there. I thought I was just going to meet like Gretchen, her husband Chase, and we show up to this house, and I walk in. There's no movement in there. It's like there's dead silence. And I walk in the kitchen. It's like 8:45. I'm of course early, and there's Fuzzy. He's sitting at the kitchen table. He's smoking like a vape cigarette, and he goes, "You the country singer?" I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "You're late." I was like, I look at the microwave, of course, the clock of all clocks. I was like, "Well, Gretchen said to be here at 9:00. It's 8:45. He goes, "Well, you're late for the drinking. Make yourself a drink." So he's got that Fuzzy's vodka. So I make a drink, and we sit there. And then at 9:00, all of a sudden, everybody comes down from all the rooms, and he's like, "All right, idiots, get in the car." And we hop in the car. Next thing, I'm like, he's wearing his green jacket. I'm sitting in the front seat with him, and we just turn right down Magnolia Lane and just don't stop. Like they're like, "Hey, oh, Mr. Zeller." And we pull right up, park, walk right in, and we had an absolute ball. Sat out there on the lawn and watched everybody walk by. Didn't watch any golf. Just
sat there and drank
just
red
ate
wine.
and drank and listened to Fuzzy's stories, which were funny, and got to hang out with a bunch of people. So it was fun.
That's badass.
Well, the closest I've been to Augusta National was because of you, Sage Valley.
It's a track right there.
And that was an experience playing through, which is their company. It's him, Cole Taylor, and Cole Swindell have this company, and they go to different high-end country clubs and play shows and all that. And very kind of you to reach out to Neil Walker and I and invite us down in October. And
Yep.
and his partner Cole Taylor, who's in left field, I've figured out after this weekend. I text him like, "Dude, we're all good, right?" "Yeah, you're good." "All right." So like they know we're coming. "Yeah, you're all set. Everything's good." So Neil and I fly into Atlanta. We go play Athens Country Club, and we're like so giddy to get to Sage Valley. Like pull up. "Hey man, what's your name?" "Jonathan Pepe." "Yeah, I don't see you on here." Okay. Neil Walker. He's not on here either. Like, okay, this is a problem. So I'm like calling everybody.
Except me.
And
Yeah, the guy with the keys.
somehow we get through the security guard. Okay. We get to the clubhouse, and they literally, you drive to the clubhouse, and they take your bags and your car. You never see anything, but it somehow ends up in the right spot.
Yeah.
Oh, that place.
Jonathan
is-
Pepe. Neil, we just go through the whole thing again, right? And they're like, yeah, you're not on this list. I'm like, this is incredible. This is whatever. So we show up to dinner. There's no seats for Neil and I. I'm like, Tyler, like, are we supposed to be here? He's like, well, this is why you don't deal with Cole.
I don't know.
Nobody
Yeah.
knew that myself or Neil were coming.
Yeah.
We basically got lucky because you guys had 2 extra beds in
Yeah.
that house.
Yeah.
I was with Ray Fulcher. You were with Neil.
Yep.
And
It worked out.
it ended up working out, but nobody knew that we were supposed to be
I
there.
think it's just one of those things where, and I think it was no bad side on Cole, because I think it's like when we go to those things, it always just kind of works out, and I guess it did. But I think it was, he probably thought you were also talking to me, and so he thought it was we were all going to be on the same page. But Sage Valley is awesome, and you can definitely, they have a lit par 3 that stays. It's on a timer. The lights are on it till 1 a.m.
And at
every
1
night,
a.m.,
and it's
it
in the
is up.
shape of Augusta National, and it's a legit par 3 course. You can walk in about 45 minutes. You get a little Sunday bag and take
Yeah.
3 clubs and a putter, and it is an absolute riot. But you play so much golf there. I mean, because the course itself is a long walk. I mean, that's a big track.
It's a long walk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're out there. You know, you walk and play, and you can play some extra, and then you end up playing at night. And then you
I
get up
played
next
that par
morning.
3 course in the most torrential downpour like ever. It was just like dumping rain, and my buddy's all, "Come on, let's go out and go play." And I'm like, "All right." So I'm walking. I'm carrying this little bag with like 4 clubs in it, and we get on the first hole, and it's dark, right? But it's lit, so it's kind of cool, and it just starts sprinkling. And I said, "Well, TK, bud," I said, I don't have any rain gear. Like, I'm in like a t-shirt and a pair of
Rain
jeans.
gear.
Yeah.
Dude,
It's like the least of your
He's like,
worries.
"Oh,
it
that's
was
all right."
You're out there at 11 p.m. I don't.
Yeah,
Think you're
yeah. He's like,
putting
"It's
rain
fine."
gear
He's
on.
like, "Let's just go and play as many holes as we want to play." So I'm all, okay. So we played the next hole, and you could see lightning coming across, and I'm like, "This is not a good idea right now." Like, do you remember the kite with the key attached to it? So we keep playing, and dude, it just absolutely starts hammering rain, and I'm out there now, and I'm just soaking wet, and there was at no point did we ever think really to just quit. We just kind of kept going, and I was just drenched everywhere. And you know how we get men, man. Like, whenever our pants get wet in certain areas, like, it just sticks, and we're
Well,
like,
and when you don't wear underwear,
well,
I mean,
that's a problem too. I don't know why people don't do that.
That could cause an issue. But the
Yeah.
funny part about that par 3 is that little fire pit at 1 a.m. At 1 a.m. those
lights
go off.
Yeah.
And so you're looking at the par 3, lights are off, and all of a sudden everybody's cell phone.
Yeah. So they do. The lights turn off at 1, and the sprinklers come on at 1:05.
So then, like,
So every
everybody's-
member knows, like, you're like, watch all these guys that we're like, hey, make sure you're off the course at 1, and no one does because you're not thinking about it. You're drinking. The lights go off, and you see everyone's like phone lights, and then about 5 minutes later, you see everyone's phone lights doing this because they're all like running from the sprinklers that are going off in the middle of the. You're like, oh, too bad you were halfway out there on the way.
Every club in America should study how that place operates.
Yeah,
I mean, because it's first class. How they
that's what I
handle
say.
you.
Yeah, 6 stars. If everywhere I've ever been, all the places that I think are 5-star. I mean, Sage definitely does an incredible job. But also, you notice how popular the par 3s are getting,
Yeah.
and the lit par 3s are starting to become a thing. And I think that's great because like Pinehurst has the Cradle now, and a lot of the other ones, Boston Golf's put one in that's like a little 12-hole. So that's always a good way to finish up some bets or something if you're not trying to go back.
Well, and this is weird, but the greatest water pressure of all time is at Sage Valley.
Oh man, they have 5-inch pipes, so that's like, I don't know, that's
5-inch
a lot.
pipe, huh?
They do,
Yeah,
but
all right
around,
now.
circumference.
Yeah, all right.
And the pipe must be a lot longer because it brings water into your room.
Yeah,
But it's a quick way to get rid of a hangover if you.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah, and they make their own soap with a pine straw from there. It's solid. It's a good place.
So you get to play a lot of these places, and I want to touch on this because of Playing Through, which, as Pep mentioned earlier, is the business that he has with Cole Swindell, Cole Taylor, and what they do is, well, I'll let you explain what you do because I think it's a great idea. It's obviously caught fire in the recent years. We've had you folks here before in the past with Swindell and who else? Charles Kelly
yeah.
from Lady A. So it's a pretty rad idea. So why don't you tell the people the whole idea behind Playing Through and what it is?
Yeah, the short and the long of it is during COVID, we were trying to find a way to go play golf at great golf course and kind of trade out the music for it because that was the only thing open during COVID were golf courses. And the first place we contacted were some friends down at Sage Valley. We went down, took a couple artists with us, and we had a show. It's like 80 people. And on the way back home, Swindell was like, why don't we just do this all the time? So we bring a lot of big artists with us, like famous artists that you would know of, especially if you listen to country music. But and it's just myself and Cole Taylor on stage, and then we have a big artist or two big artists with us, and we sit kind of like we're sitting here on a stage in front of a couple hundred people and raise a bunch of money for charity and have a good time, golf, and hang out with everybody, and just kind of marry golf and music.
Yeah,
and
you tell the stories to the songs and the songs whatnot.
yeah, so
and
it's a
each
different
play.
show. You'll never see, if you go watch Cole Swindell with his band, it's a full band show, and it's a great show in its own right. It's just this is just a much more intimate version of that, and you're getting to hang out with the artist, and you have access with them. It's not like we come off the stage and we're not going and jumping on a bus and leaving. I mean, we're hanging out, we're playing golf the next day, and we're doing that kind of thing. So we've been, I think, 5 years in now. 5 years probably. So it's been good. We're anybody that wants to come to one of those. A lot of times it's like the members only, so we keep them as like private shows and put the shows on Sunday nights so they don't affect with the big artists touring on Friday night, Saturday night, and stuff. But and all our artists we take with us, most all of them are huge fans of golf and love golf, so it's an easy way for us to get them to come play the show.
Man, I figured you don't talk to anybody that doesn't play golf. So
Yeah, a few, but not many.
well, the one night we were at the Hick for Porch Talk. It was you, Little Skinny, which Little Skinny
Yeah, he's great.
is a stud.
Yeah.
And then Daly, and this long, red-haired, curly dude shows up, and he's like, "What's up, man? I'm Spider Monkey."
It's Grayson Russell.
Listen. So I'm like, Spider Monkey? Fuck. Spider Monkey. So, I'm just going to let this go. So 2 hours goes by, and I've been boozing enough to, because everybody's calling him that. And I'm like, hey, man, why are you calling him Spider Monkey? He said, you ever see
Talladega
Nights? And he said, Chip, I'm going to come at you like a spider monkey? I said, yeah. And he said, that's me. And I said, shut up. Meanwhile, this guy over here, he goes, I don't even know what you guys are talking about. I've never seen it.
I didn't
And
know
Daly
what
was
Spider
like,
Monkey was.
it's on FX
every day.
10 times a week or
Talladega
TNT
Nights,
or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's trying. So it's the little kid in Talladega Nights.
Little redheaded kid. Yeah,
little redheaded kid
Yeah.
at Talladega Nights is Spider Monkey. Now he's in the country music game,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
and he was pretty talented.
Yeah,
I mean, to me, everybody's talented.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm like, this is good, but
Yeah, it's fun there. I mean, that's kind of the same thing. It's like you never know that porch talk thing can be. You end up with Kid Rock sitting there playing some songs, or whomever it might be. We've had, of course, Morgan Wallen out there and Chase Rice and Riley Green. All those guys, a lot of them play golf there, so it's easy for us to play golf and go run into each other and play a little bit of golf and be like, hey, let's get together and write a song on Tuesday or whatever it might be. It's helpful.
so Riley Green for the women.
They don't like him.
I'm happily married, but he's a good looking dude. So the joke in my house is my kids think that my girlfriend's Ella Langley. So my daughter will say, "Mom, Ella's on," blah blah blah, and my wife will always say, "Well, ask Dad who mom's boyfriend is, and it's Riley Green. So, I mean, you get around the Riley Greens of the world and this, that, and the other. Are you writing songs with Riley Green, or does he have writers? Because they're writers too, right?
Yeah, Riley's a very active writer. Some artists will record songs that they did not write, that they just like the song and it was written by a few songwriters, and then some artists want to be a part of the song. Riley's always a part of the song. I don't think he's recorded many songs he didn't have a part in writing. All the stuff I've written with him, I wrote with him. And when he first came to town, I helped him do his first EP, and we've been friends for a long time. He was in my wedding party and bought me a really nice shotgun for a gift for my wedding.
That's nice.
So
You got me a Timex. So
you got me a Timex.
So
I stole it from Stale.
So there's and I don't put you in this position ever, but there's some shit going on in country music right now between Gavin Adcock and
Charlie and Zach Bryan. Yeah.
Zach Bryan.
Yeah.
And Zach Bryan jumped over a fence,
barbed wire fence. Yeah.
a barbed wire fence. In a perfect world, if that fight happens, I feel like that would be a pretty good fight.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
all right, we'll pass on that.
Yeah,
all right.
I'm not saying like one or the other. I know Gavin. Gavin's a sweetheart to me every time I've ever seen him. He's obviously part of his culture is if you ever go watch some of his shows, I mean, he wants people to like throw full beers at him and stuff while he's on stage.
Wild.
He has that extra gear of like, let's get crazy. And so I know him well. I don't know Zach well, and I don't know Charlie well. So
I don't think anybody knows Zach well in Nashville, though. Based on my
he's kind of stayed out of it, and that's fine too. That's his choice, his lane that he wants to be in. I don't know. I will say I think Gavin's a good dude. I know him. There's a lot of drama around it though, and I'm tired of seeing it. I'll tell you that when I'm like scrolling through anything. I'm like, here's another thing about if these guys are going to fight or not.
So the first time I heard Gavin was at Old Hick for the Blue Otter. Or no.
Yeah, probably the Blue Otter.
Probably Blue Otter last year. And Daly is FaceTiming a guy. And Gavin had a American flag guitar. We're all like, who's he FaceTiming? Like, he's Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He FaceTimes
Donald.
Daly FaceTimes Donald Trump, and he's showing him Gavin Adcock.
Playing an American flag guitar.
Playing the American flag guitar. I'm like, what world
country.
are we? I'm like, America.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I got Spider Monkey over here trying to sing something.
Yeah. And Bryson and Daly did the breaking 50 at the Hick.
Did they break it?
No, not even close. They started off like par. We're like, this is not going to go well. But
I saw them chug chocolate milk. They were chugging chocolate milk or something. Yeah. But that's the thing too, and a lot of people will think Daly's this big drunk dick. Whatever. He is literally a sweetheart, and he is the nicest guy that you will ever meet.
Yeah.
And he will reach out to you, or he will have a conversation with you if he doesn't know you.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
I think he's one of the best.
No doubt about it. He can also put some drinks down though. That's a slippery slope.
Man, he can sing it too, man. Well, dude, I want to maybe later we could hear you cut a few up.
Yeah.
On the 6-string.
Yeah.
Because I know they're cutting us here for scheduling purposes, but I don't know if anybody has any questions for Tyler. Not that this is a Q&A, but it's kind of a curious topic that a lot of people aren't privy to, and having a guy like him right here is obviously we're grateful for that because this is what it's about.
So how many number ones do you have?
There's a question from him.
I have 2.
It was your show. I just listened.
Yeah, 2.
In case you didn't know.
Mm-hmm. It does to me.
There you go.
Yeah, that's all you need.
That's it.
That's all you need, bud. How many you have? Yeah. Guys, man. Oh, there's Mr. Otto in the back there. Yes, sir. I thank y'all for tuning in and listening to this. I mean, I know, we appreciate it. It was kind of fun hearing, again, your story again. Now that we know you better, because the first time we did it, we didn't know you.
Yeah,
now we
interview of my truck outside of Tin Roof.
Yeah, we spent time and time again together. So it was a lot of fun hearing your story again.
Heck yeah, man. Thanks for having me, man. I love you guys both, and I know y'all always beat me at golf, but I'm gonna change that next time we play.
I don't know.
Yeah, but
You got it.
I
You
don't
got that
know,
draw.
man. Like you
And the love's mutual, by the way.
Thank
he
you.
always makes that putt where he walks it in from 20 feet and slams his putter. Like I want to lay him out one time.
It happens.
It's only happens once around. So
All right, guys. Well, I guess we'll head over to whatever's next. Marissa's leading the way, so we'll just look for her direction and go from there. But thank y'all for listening to this hour of us yucking it up and acting like we know what we're talking about. That's always fun. Well, he knows what he's talking about, but we just kind of just sit
No
here.
clue.
Yeah, we're just directors. So
hell yeah.
right on.
Thank you, boys.